Eric Termuende is acknowledged globally as a thought leader on the future of work.
He is one of the leading voices in conversations about workplace culture.
He's on a mission to change the way we talk about work and how we get fulfillment from it.
The co-founder of Now Innovations.
A best-selling author on the topic of the future of work.
Rethink Work has become a must-read for today's leaders.
An international speaker. His work has been featured in Forbes, Thrive Global,
Huffington Post, TEDx.
Recognized as a top 100 emerging innovator.
Welcome, please,
Eric Termuende.
And so what I want to share with you today is 3 one-degree shifts that we can all make to build more intentional community. See, because I've surveyed these thousands of people in tens of organizations from Canada to the United States, even into the United Kingdom. And what we realized is that there were 3 things that these companies had in common that enabled them to have more fulfilling, prosperous, successful, financially stable organizations. The first thing that these companies did is they started focusing on who they were attracting and not what they were attracting. A small shift, just one word, but they shifted from what they were attracting to who. And I wanted to show you this because I looked on my way over here and I looked at an accountant in Toronto. Now, an accountant's obviously a highly skilled professional, highly respected, et cetera, et cetera. My question to you is, how many accountants are there in Toronto? Any guesses? Let's go with 65,977. Now, you can be an accountant for MLSE, or for Deloitte, or for the City of Toronto, or for the local golf course, or Starbucks, and the job that you'll do is very similar. That's what you'll do as an accountant. But the life that you live as a result of being this accountant at these different organizations is totally different. And when we understand that we're not just signing up for a job anymore, we're signing up for a life, that who we attract perhaps is our differentiator from what we used to attract. Now, I'm not saying we don't need the fundamentals, the skills, the requirements, and the education that we always needed before. What I am saying is that who we're trying to attract might be our competitive advantage. Who is that individual that's going to thrive on our team because of the environment that we've created, because of the community that we've created? See, what stunned me last year is that 49% of all job postings by the S&P 100 companies in 2018 were for just 39 roles. 1 in 2 job postings were for just 39 roles. So put yourself in the applicant's shoes and saying, I want to be a human resources manager, or I want to be an account manager, or I want to be an executive assistant. And you look at the S&P 100 or the best companies to work for list, and you find that they're all telling the same story. All the job descriptions read exactly the same. My question is, look at who, or what are you doing to suggest who would ultimately thrive in your environment rather than just what skills they have. See, I want to tell you a quick story about Emma, a friend of mine. I flew in from Vancouver this morning. Emma recently, 2 years ago, got out of a relationship with her boyfriend. She was the hiking type of millennial. He was the Xbox and Netflix type of millennial, just so we can paint a bit of a picture there. And she loved to get outside more than anything else. 2 years ago, she was outside and hiking 65 days a year. When they broke up, she turned to what a lot of us turn to now, Tinder, Bumble, Match, Plenty of Fish, online dating. And she wanted to find that next Mr. Right. What she was looking for was a male roughly her age. That happens to be what she's into. And when she was swiping, and this is what she found. She then came to me and she said, Eric, I'm sick of this. I've gone on 30 dates and none of them have worked out. I said, well, have you gone to where you like to go? She said, what do you mean? I said, why don't you try hiking? Because what you're doing now is you're looking for what? You're looking for a male roughly your age, but you're not looking for who is a good fit for you. Last month they got engaged. Her and the president of the hiking club. Because she started not looking for what she was interested in, she was starting to look for who she was interested in. And as we look to develop and build our communities, I challenge you not just to look for what you're trying to attract, but start to look for who you're trying to attract. Because when we understand the values of the people that are actually in our organizations, more importantly, our teams and our communities, that's when I believe we can start building more intentional communities that allow us to future-proof our organizations. That's the first shift. The third is to give everyone a paintbrush, is to allow everyone to belong. Well, I went to a wedding this summer with my girlfriend, and thought it was this incredible little exercise. what the bride and groom did is they had to paint by numbers for their wedding. This is the couple, and literally everyone at the wedding was given a brush, and we were all able to contribute to the end result of their photo. See, this idea of giving everyone a paintbrush and making sure that everyone belongs isn't just limited to the workplace. The Philadelphia 76ers in 2006 were 10-72. They were dead last in the NBA, and they had a ton of ground to cover. When Coach Brown came into the dressing room, he looked at each player along each seat of the dressing room. Hands were in their faces were in their hands. They were deep sighs. The team hadn't smiled or engaged in weeks. They were dead last in the NBA until he saw in the back corner of the room, he heard something. He heard, whoa! He said, what's going on back there? When Coach Brown went to the back of the room, he saw that one player had put a rubber snake in the bag of another player. He said, why'd you do that? He said, well, I heard he was afraid of snakes, so I thought I'd play a trick on him. Now, there were two things that Coach Brown could have done at this point. Number one, he could have said, wind sprints in the morning. We've lost 5 games in a row. We can't handle this. This has to be something better, and we need better performance and behavior out of you. The second thing he could have done, and this is what he did, he said, let's explore this a little bit further. I haven't seen a smile or engagement out of my team in so long. Let's do something different. So what he did over the next 3 months is he invited and insisted that every player give a 10-minute presentation about something that they were interested in outside of basketball. The first player came up and gave a 10-minute presentation on coffee, on the history of coffee. He talked about the 9th century origins from Ethiopia, how it came to North America, how it was banned in the 14th century because they thought that it gave you magic powers, which it kind of does, and how it influenced his game and his play, how he had coffee in the morning, coffee at lunch, coffee naps, and coffee before the game. Another player gave a presentation on the Maori history of tattoos, how it influenced the NBA. He showed pictures of his tattoos, how it influenced his culture and his life, and he showed some of his favorite tattoos from around the league. Another player came in, there's the same one that had the snakes in the bag, and he actually brought in his 2 bearded dragons. Obviously, everyone in the room stepped back a few steps while he took a look at these dragons. He put them back in the case, and he reached into his bag and pulled out a 4-foot boa constrictor, to which everyone in the team jumped back, and it turns out they named a defensive drill after that move. They called it the Max, which was the name of his snake that he introduced to the group. See, what happened over a year and a half is the team's record nearly flipped. They made it to the second round of the playoffs that year. They made it to the second round of the playoffs last year, only to lose to Toronto, of course. And they realized that something different happened. It wasn't because of the drills they did, and it wasn't because of the people on the team. What Coach Brown realized is that when our team trusted each other off the court, they played better together on the court. When our team trusts each other off the court, they play better together on the court. When we give everyone a paintbrush, all of a sudden we can come together to enable everyone to succeed. And what I want to suggest is that if we want to get to the future of work, if we want to thrive in the future, that what got us here won't get us there. If we just build teams and we fail to build communities, we're going to lose our best talent. We'll fail to build thriving organizations, and we won't have that sense of community, psychological safety, belonging, and trust that we did when we made that shift. And so what I want to suggest to you, and what I want to ask you, is what is this 1-degree change that you can make tomorrow? How can we start talking about who we're attracting and not just what? What is it that we can do to plant our flag firmly in the ground and give everyone a paintbrush so that we all feel like we belong and that we're part of a community? And I promise you that our best days are yet to come. Thank you so much.